Welcome to another powerful episode of Pro Chats, our weekly conversation where real students and real professionals around the world sit down to share truth about study abroad, personal transformation, career discover, and global opportunities. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT, we bring the voices that help you make informed decision about your education, your future, your place in an interconnected world. ProChat was designed to bridge the information gap for students in Ghana and beyond, showing the realities of studying abroad from choosing the right school program to navigating funding, academic culture, and life after graduation. Each episode is meant to inspire, clarify, and guide using real experiences rather than theory. Today's conversation is practically special. You want to know why? Because I'm joined by Samuel Siaw, a scholar whose journey reflects resilience, purpose, and the power of global education. Samuel is currently a doctoral researcher in ecological anthropology at the University of Georgia, where he explores the intersection of agriculture, climate change, sustainability, and rural livelihoods across both Sub-Saharan Africa and rural America. His work examines how farmers adapt to environmental and economic pressures and what it takes to build long-term resilience in food systems. Before beginning his PhD, Samuel earned a master's degree in sustainable international development from Brandeis University, my own universities, Hella School, and a bachelor's degree in geography and resource development from the University of Ghana. His professional journey includes serving as a research assistant at the Institute of Statistical and Socioeconomic Research. Um, what else? What else do you have to say about someone? I think someone has a lot. There's a lot about someone I would want to share on the show, and I can go on and go on and go on and go on and go on. But what makes someone's stories, especially compelling is 3 years of practical farming experience, which grants his academic research in live reality. What else should I add to it? He's done some work with Taft University. It's a lot, man. What some more? You know what? I can go on and on and on. But in today's session, someone will walk us through how study abroad shaped his academic direction, right? How he transitioned from Ghana to the US, what it means to research sustainability at a high level, what lessons our aspiring graduate students can learn from his journey. So get ready for an insightful and honest conversation with Samuel today. And I know you're going to enjoy the conversation because I know Samuel personally, and you will like this conversation, everybody. So welcome to Pro Chats. Welcome to the conversation that prepares you for the world. Let me add Samuel to the stage. Samuel, welcome. No, Samuel, we can't hear you. Talk to us.
Okay, thank you. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. It's way better now.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Welcome to Pro Chat, where only the professionals can be on this call. If you're not a professional of study abroad, you cannot be on this chat with any of us on this call. And I'm assuming it's not I know you, man. I know Samuel from master's degree at Brandeis University to now reading a PhD. I know your journey is an interesting one. It's full of insights that our viewers would pick from or will learn from you today. So thank you very much for deciding to be on today's podcast with me. Some of you muted yourself, bro. You want to hear all the noise in your background, so forget the muting or mute yourself, bro.
I'm not mute. Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me, Obodai. I think it's really an honor to be here. And you've said so much. I don't know if I qualify to be on this platform. Like, though you're saying professionals, maybe I'm not there yet, but like, it's really an honor. And thank you so much for this opportunity to be here and to share my journey as well with the world and whoever that listens to you. And I want to say, like, hello to everyone who is listening to us this evening from any part of the world. And yeah, and it's also a joy knowing somebody like you. Like, you're really a great person as well, knowing you from and for all the amazing things you did. Like, it was really a joy getting to know you. And through this, like, journey in US. It has really been a great joy. Like, yeah, so thank you, Nee.
You're making people jealous, but that's okay.
Hmm.
So let's begin
Good.
by um, today. The way I will struggle with my desktop, only God knows. All right, so let's begin by grounding to this conversation and your story, Samuel. So you spent over 13 years working directly in farming before entering academia. How did those early experiences shape the way you see development, sustainability, and the world? Let's pick the conversation from here.
Great. I think I'm already on a hot seat
Yeah.
now because tough questions, but we'll try to get through them. Yeah, so I think what I really want to highlight here with regards to my experience in the farming sector and how it led me to the classroom to be studying ecological anthropology today really happened with how I grew up with my parents who were farmers, subsistence farming, and all they grew was to feed the household and also a couple more acres for cash crops, which they used to take care of us in our school days. And so I think the great transformational part happened to me when I realized that farming that my parents used to were changing over like the years and how harvest, how planting decisions, and how like farming practices in general were changing and how that was affecting their livelihood. It really got to me. And I remember one time I was in a farm with my mother and we're harvesting yams. I come from the Brong Ahafo, now the
Um,
Bono region of Ghana, and we do
region.
yams a lot. Yeah, so we were in the farm harvesting yams, and the harvest wasn't so great. So my mother called and then said she doesn't think that after that year she was going to farm again. And I was
Okay.
asking why, and then he said that she said I think she's not really getting like reward for her effort because a lot goes into it. But then at the end of the day, if you're not able to get a reward that you deserve, it becomes a pain in you and you really want to look for something else to do. And so that was how this whole idea of pursuing agriculture, sustainability occurred, and how I can position myself to help people like my mom who are very like core parts of agriculture and how I can help in their situation with regards to climate change and how it is shaping not just farming, but in my world, farming is what I'm like used to and I've known. And so how to myself well in an area I can contribute to helping people like my mom who their livelihood based on agriculture and how they can come up with that. And so that's how my story has been. So beyond knowing practical aspects of what happens on the farm, I also want to know what goes beyond just what is happening on the farm that shapes what happens on the farm actually. So that's how like I got this connected into this whole academic program and then it led me to where I am today.
All right. So viewers, if you are watching, I think you can tell how he started by explaining his background because today's conversation is sort of positioning you to become a research candidate and how you can leverage on your experience to apply for research programs abroad. Right. So thank you for that background. I think we'll come back to that conversation again. Now, my second question for you is that before your graduate studies in the US, you worked at the Institute of the ISSER and served in
Right.
Leeds, Ghana. What did these roles teach you about education, inequality, and evidence-based policies?
Tough questions today. So
Yeah,
my work
I'm just building a background to the whole study abroad
right.
conversation. But
Yeah.
I think for many of the research programs, before you receive your grants, before you get some kind of funding, you go to like an interview stage. Your Yes, your faculty members want to understand what the background of
Yeah.
your study is. They need an
Yeah.
in-depth,
Yeah.
knowledge. They want to know you personally. And what is,
Right.
fueling you to pursue that particular research. So that is why I'm asking some of these questions too.
Great question, because like for my PhD, I did 3 interviews just for one school, like
One school, 3 interviews.
20
Yeah.
interviews before I got in. So it's really a great question. And for my experiences at ISE, I think I was more of a research assistant doing a lot of field work and
Okay.
also assisting with technical stuff with regards to like technology and like research tools, analytical tools like SPSS and Vivo
Okay.
and those like research analytical tools. And my main takeaway and how it says shaped me was how it gave me the practical tools in doing research and also how using that to communicate research that you do. And for me, as a development student, I have come to believe that there are two main, like there are differences between doing a research and communicating research. And I
Okay.
think that is where it becomes very important what type of a researcher you want to become or which area you want to pursue your education. If
Okay.
your research is meant to drive policy, there's a way you write it. And ISA is very good at that because they really drive policies in Ghana. And I remember one of the key things that people can check out from ISA, it's a really great institution, is their policy brief that they bring out like monthly. And also, they also have the state of the Ghanaian economy outlook, which are books they bring out concerning Ghana, its state on developmental like projects and course. And so that's what ISA really did to me. And it helped me to understand how research drive policy and how you can communicate policy through research and writings. And it was a great experience because I think it laid the foundation for how, like for most of my research I'm doing today. And
Okay.
during my undergrad, I did long essay, which gave me some perspective and some skills, but I think I was more grounded when I got to essay as a research assistant and I got to work on some field research projects, going to the field, collecting data, reading about theories, getting to know like some conceptual frameworks that drive what research you are doing and how you use those concepts to communicate to the public what should be done and what not should be done. And so I'm really grateful to ISA today, looking back and then reflecting on these things. They've really like positioned me and where I am today. And I think that is one key thing I would say that if I didn't get anything at all from ISA, that's one thing I want to highlight how it's shaped me on concept tools and also communicating research that's like from a very bulky data you have collected from the field to make sense to the public and how that should drive policy implementational projects. Yeah.
Let's talk about Lead for Ghana too, because I think you did some work with them as well. So let's talk about how your role your role at Lead for Ghana also shaped your education as well.
Ghana, I did two main things, but I want to, for the purpose of this conversation, I want to highlight one as working with Lead for Ghana as an ICT instructor in the rural communities in Ghana. And I served in the Sankwari area, which was really like a great place. And Lead for Ghana is doing really amazing job bridging the educational divide between rural communities in Ghana and also like the cities. And there's one thing that they believe that students, like if you take a student from the city and then you take a student from the rural Ghana, what differences you will see are the pedagogical trainings that teachers give to students in terms of learning and studies and how that shape the products that are made like through students when they come out. And so that's what Lead for Ghana is currently doing, and making sure that students in rural communities are getting the city-like educational trainings that produce the best of students. And Lead for Ghana shaped me in two main ways. One, understanding the rural terrain, like the educational terrain in rural communities, and how there's really a huge gap between how students are taught in the cities and how students in the communities are also taught, and even how we understand students in rural communities, and the perspectives of the educational system as it is in rural communities as well. And positioning me as a teacher, I think it gave me great skill to understand that becoming a good student, it's not just about knowing materials, but also how you understand your environment as a student and how that drives the passion for education. And so today, like there's one thing I say to my friends a lot of times today, that I think if not for some grounding and some backgrounds I have, probably I would have left PhD program because it's too tough. But going through those trainings really shaped me and has positioned me to think beyond what a student is, but also looking at what constitutes who a student is in relation to the environment, in relation to your passion, in relation to where you are driving your life at, and how you should integrate the materials you have in becoming this person. And that's the key main thing I think I'll highlight from my work with Lead for Ghana. It didn't just make me a teacher, but it made me a good student, learning to teach students. Yeah.
So based on the insights you have shared, made to believe that to qualify as a PhD student, there are certain skills or experiences you need to have as an individual to be able to, first and foremost, even consider becoming a PhD or applying for a PhD program. Now, let's say I do not have a research background, or I do not have a teaching background. As for learning background, because I'm a student, I'm automatically going to have it. So let's say I do not have any of the backgrounds you have mentioned. Now, are we saying that I cannot apply for a PhD program?
I think I said that, and you can, and I will say that start where you are, and I think that one do not just get up to them and say I want to go into a PhD program. I think it stems from a long period of experience, thought processes going through that. And so I believe that the moment you start thinking about PhD, I think you begin to get into those thoughts of what I need in order to excel in that area. And I think during application processes, admission committees really look for certain things, not just your research. I came into PhD program not having published any paper, but I worked on research, data collector, reviewing literature, and also analyzing and presenting data in statistical forms. But I had not really had an experience doing research on my own and publishing, except my master's paper and also the longest I did from my undergrad. So I would say that once you have that thought, then you begin to think what you have now that can get you there and what else you need. And the first thing I would say, using my experience, that committees probably will look for is what makes you think you really need to get this PhD.
Okay.
So beyond that, then they look at what skills have prepared you. And so having talked about really want to do this PhD, then the skills come in as your research skills, and more importantly, how you write. I think it's very key in thinking about PhD. And they look out for these things when you submit your statement of purposes, when you submit your CVs, when you submit your writing samples. They're not just looking at you have the skill of I know how to use Stata, I know how to do this, I know how to collect data, I know how to, but also how you also write about basic things, which is really one key thing I think should be very important to anyone. And once you are good at that and you are at that point, I think you are good to apply for a PhD program or even a master's program because it's cool and you are there to be taught. So you don't have to have it all figured out or be professional in all of them. That's why it's cool and you're going to be trained. So just have some basic things that will get you into the program. And once you're in the program, you can learn about many things. So if you don't have a research background, I don't think it should disqualify you from applying to a PhD or a master's program, but just know that there are certain basic things that the ones that you have, you highlight those things and make it like very heightened that they can based on that as a point of training for you when you get into the program.
Yeah. So these are very insightful, stuff shared with us. I'm actually learning a lot. I don't have a PhD. I think I'm considering after conversation. You mentioned writing skill, right? Let me not get there yet. I think I have another question for you, which is very important.
Okay.
The details of the writing and the other stuff, right? So now my third question for you would be, what would you say was a turning point that made you decide that I am ready to pursue a graduate studies abroad?
Not my PhD, but a graduate studies abroad.
Graduate studies abroad.
Okay.
Because you were here for a master's, then you transitioned into a PhD.
Right.
So we're having two conversations here today.
Right.
Master's education abroad, and that's transition into PhD program.
Okay.
Right. So at what point did you like, yo, I'm tired, man, I need to just go get a master's abroad?
Right. I think the turning point happened where I would say it's the terrain of how the world is going today. Mm-hmm. So growing up in Ghana, I think I don't know, you probably will be familiar with this, but in a typical rural village, we used to hear stories like, oh, the way the world is going, the days are coming if you don't have an SHS degree, like certificates, you can't do certain jobs. Mm-hmm. Then they move from SHS to like diploma. And now they were saying diploma certificates are like SHS certificates. So
now,
of course, exactly. So I think the whole point is about upgrading yourself and branding yourself for the future you are looking for. So that is where I think the turning point was for me when I realized that I think what I know up to this point, probably I've become too comfortable in what I know and what I'm doing, and I need another challenge that I need to upgrade. I need to position myself well. I need another rebranding, like expand my knowledge pool so that I'll be more useful in where the world is going. The world is changing. And I think if you don't change yourself, the world will change and leave you. There's this common adage we say in the local dialect that say, that's a one Nibia. So as the world is evolving, you need to evolve with the world. Else, you'll be left out, and you don't want that. So the turning point was like that particular point where I realized that no, I think I've probably used all my undergrad knowledge and I need to upgrade myself. And I was looking for a couple of programs, but looking at my passion in agriculture, I think, and I had so much interactions within the agricultural space in Ghana. And so I wanted to see what else I don't know beyond Ghana. And that is why I decided to pursue this education in US for my master's programs, to also get to know the agricultural landscape within US and how things are done differently here, and how that's like with either are similar or change with how we do agriculture in Ghana, and what are the other things we can learn. Like I really want to hopefully help farmers in Ghana, and so what are some of the skills I can build here that can be transferable to my geographical location for my people in Ghana. And so that is the main reason why, to rebrand, let me put it that way, to rebrand myself and to gain more understanding, expand my knowledge, and evolve with the directions of the world. Yes. Today, I know people say that, oh, if you have masters, you need to upgrade, because it's becoming like a thing in the conversation now. So
a trend.
A trend, exactly. Okay. Yeah, that you are never satisfied with one thing unless you get to the next level. And yeah, but more importantly, just evolving with the world and becoming more useful in your field of like studies and in the field of expertise. Yeah.
Okay, boss. All right. So thank you so much. That was powerful. And I mean, you've taken experiences that many people overlook and then turn it into a foundation for global research. And now you're doing, yeah, I feel like you are getting to that point where you're more of like a researcher,
Right.
because there's a lot of like teaching and learning. There's a lot of like trying to understand
Yeah.
farmers, agriculture, growth, and
Right.
anything within the um, eco, friendly community. Because then there's a sustainability aspect of what you did at Brandeis. So at this point I want to find out from you what made you choose Brandeis University and why sustainable international development. Because then if you were interested in policy while I was working with ISSER, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that there are other programs that Brandeis offers that are very deep into understanding policy and then positioning yourself as a global policymaker. But then you sort of made a decision to choose sustainable international development. So I'm taking you back. Let's take a conversation, pick a conversation from why the Brandeis University. In fact, let's take it back again. Why USA? Why Brandeis was your choice? And why the sustainable international development? So this is three questions, buried in one big why.
Thank you. Like you're really deep things today. So two things.
Yeah.
Why USA? USA because if you are talking about world economies, USA, you can't talk and not talk about US.
USA. Okay.
And secondly, I think if you are positioning yourself and you're talking about development, like having developmental debate studies, one of
Yeah.
the key things you can't also leave out is agriculture.
Okay.
And there are a lot of scholars who believe that the first thing you need to before you step into development is to feed. And
Okay.
so if you're hungry, you can't think about any other infrastructures. And so coming to US or choosing US is it's like economic position in the world and how they got to where they are today and how they use some of these concepts to get to the point where they are. And there are good schools everywhere, and there are good schools in US as well. But choosing Brandeis and then the Hella School and its sustainable project was mainly because I think also in the same perspective, thinking about it from developmental perspective, policy is one thing that you can like that drives development. But again, I was looking for a more broader like discuss about how to drive the whole development train. And I believed the sustainability program gave me that broader perspective of what to do and the things to look out for in doing or in positioning yourself for developmental debates. And coming into the sustainability program, I got exposed to a lot of many programs and courses that really built me up for this goal I have. And one key thing I want to mention, like one key course I want to mention, had to do with plan and implementation and also monitoring and evaluation. It was really great. And I did courses on rural livelihoods strategies taught by Professor San, which is an amazing professor that I really admire and appreciate so much. So I chose the US mainly because of its like position in global discourses and debate in terms of economy, and also Brandeis because of the program and what it was offering me. So not just because I wanted to study and come to the US and like put myself out there in education, but I chose them specifically because I found them very useful in the direction I was going with my life and how it will position me as a global like researcher, more understanding more of it from the US perspective and also from the Ghanaian perspective, like setting it as a model for us and for me as well. in the practical things that this nation has followed over time and how that is passed on to students and how we can borrow and we can situate those concepts, strategies, those informations in the past that we come from and also put ourselves on this success path to development. Yes.
Samuel, my computer froze. So sorry, man.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, guys. My computer just froze. Sorry about that. So then I was finding out why the Brandeis University, why the program. So personally, I got to I heard you up to why the university, like why
Right.
the USA. So maybe you can just throw more, light on. I missed it. More lights on the on Brandeis and the program, because I have like follow-up questions for that. If I didn't hear what you said, maybe you answer the questions I have in mind. So, yeah.
It's okay. So I think in some way, what I was basically saying was I chose the US because one of its global position in terms of economy and in development terms and how they got to the point where they are today. I think US has been a model for many things and how getting to the point where they are, learning from them, getting concepts, and not just like picking them and dropping them in your communities or in your countries, but how you learn from these and situate them to fit where you are coming from. And I think that was the main reason why I chose the US. And also, and of course, in terms of our grade too, US also produce a lot of stuff, and then they they will like exports to many other countries. Like they feed many nations around the world. And so it was also very interesting to me that like how we have good arable lands back in our home house coming from, but we are not able to feed the world like US is doing. So it was like very fascinating. What can I learn from US?
Mhm.
And so that's why one of the key reasons why I came to the US. And in choosing Brandeis, the Hella school, of course, Hella is Hella. And and again, Hella is Hella.
I know why
And
Hella is Hella, though. You know why Hella is Hella, though. Those
you
watching,
don't know why Hella is
you
Hella?
know why Hella is Hella.
Oh, I mean, all schools in US are schools. They are like amazing schools. I love US schools. They are really great schools. But again, I chose Hella specifically of the program, the global, like the sustainability program. You like in the question you said there were courses that were more policy focused. I think in my experiences at ISE, I got a taste of how these policy discourses were, but again, how to situate them in the broader development, sustainable conversations debate was something I was not like, I didn't have. And so that's why I chose the sustainability program to get a broader perspective of how these things have been talked about, how they are situated in policy and development conversations. And Hella gave me courses like rural livelihood strategies taught by Professor Hassan, amazing professor, planning and implementation also taught by Professor Hassan, and monitoring and evaluation, like a whole lot of amazing courses that really helped me. Economics for development studies, like these were like really amazing courses that really has given me tools, has given me concepts, and has helped me to also see how the debates on development sustainability issues are going and how I can position myself globally to also contribute to this. So that's why I chose US and the Hella School.
Okay, solid, perfect. And so back to my next question. Now, so
Okay.
the question is that um the idea of moving from your country, you move from
Right.
Ghana all the way to the US. I believe that many students fear that cultural shift when you're moving from Ghana to the US, right?
Right.
What was your own transition like academically
Mm.
and socially? Was it difficult for you? Was it something you had to think twice of? Because I've heard stories of people who got their visas and then now coming to the US became a problem. They were not excited. Trust me, many people would think what I'm saying is not true, but I know a lot of people who, when they were moving to the US, became a challenge for them because they felt like they were leaving their families behind, they were leaving their social lives behind. And how how did you fare, going through that process?
And now you're making me think a
Are
whole
you
lot
like
about.
sad? You want to cry? You want like a tissue paper or
I think
something?
probably I want to cry a little bit.
You want to cry?
Yeah, but you know, living family is never an easy thing to do.
Uh,
It's no matter how it is, even for a very short period of time, it's never an easy thing to do. Where you grew up, where you have all your friends, your family, everyone is there, and now you have to travel like a very long distance away from them
mhm,
for many years. Like it's definitely hard, and so for that, then I think I will not say I'm a superhuman and say I didn't feel it. I felt it. I really felt it, and getting here, I think. I mean, they are two separate environments, and so it would definitely demand some adjustment. And I think for anyone thinking about traveling outside Ghana or traveling outside anywhere you are, one thing you should also prepare psychologically, mentally, is the environmental change because you are not going to be like used to where you are going to. You probably have not been there before. In my case, I've never been to the US. And so coming in and meeting the sun at 10 p.m.
mhm.
I was like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
eating food that you are not used to.
Add
Like
that 3:30, 4 p.m., darkness to it.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Like by 3 p.m., it's at some point dark, like pitch dark,
yeah.
and you still have to walk through, go to school, do other things. Like you sleep and you wake up thinking that's all, and you realize that you've not been anywhere. So I think those adjustments were like things I had to learn as I got here and many other things. But I think once you know that definitely where you're going to have some changes in your environment and you start thinking around that and positioning your mind, I think many things will not be a shock to you because you're already anticipating some of these things to happen to you. And I think
Mhm.
it's really good. Don't just prepare getting visa, don't just prepare books, don't just prepare things you will do, but also prepare mentally, prepare psychologically, prepare in every way you can so that many things will not be like will not take you by surprise. But of course, I'll say again that US is a good place. So if you want to come, few adjustments, but you did adjust it. I did as well. So
I'm still
anybody thinking
adjusting,
of
bro. I'm still adjusting.
definitely
I'm
would
not,
do it.
not done adjusting. For me,
Yeah.
it's a continuous process for me.
I think one thing I always say is, especially during the snow season, that nobody adjusts to the cold.
No, even the Americans are not even adjusting.
Yeah, you can't adjust to the cold season. So that is one thing that you should brace yourself for and coming anytime. But yeah, I love the snow too, and sometimes it
Okay,
changes. Yeah.
let's talk about PhD. Let's transition into PhD from Brandeis, right? So, how would you say your experience at Brandeis prepared you for your PhD program?
I would say that Brandeis gave me most of the basic things and most of the like the foundational development for a PhD. To thank every professor at the Hella School who, one way or the other, shaped me. Like I can mention a lot of people, like a lot of professors, a lot of non-teaching staff, like who really contributed to this growth.
Oh,
Um,
wait. If you're watching this, I want you to know that I was in the same school with Siam. Siam was very popular academically, not like the kind of famous that was all over the place. Academically, was very popular. I think it was a TA for most of the courses. He was receiving awards, and he was very popular. So
great.
like he's like my mentor
Oh,
academically, my
oh.
academic mentor. I think that
I
academically.
think I think I can count the number of times I saw you on campus. If I was that popular, I probably should have been meeting you more often on
I
campus.
was dodging you, bro. I just
Wait,
couldn't stand
wait.
the heat of
No,
the grace you were carrying. It was just
wait.
every time I saw you coming, I took a different direction.
No, I think the bottom line is that I wasn't popular as you're saying. Like I probably wasn't. I was just doing my best as a student and to contribute to my community. I think that's all. And I think that's one thing I was also want to say, that like finding community wherever you are, which is really important. Like adding on to the previous question you asked, that it's one of the things you also have to prepare for, because leaving everybody in where you are, like your country of origin, you have to make new friends, you have to find communities to continue doing what you were doing, and that made your life your life. So finding that community is really helpful. And in educational institutions, I think one of the key things you can do this is by being part of the school, not just working through the school, but being part of the school, and also giving to the institution what you can do, which is really very important. So in that regard, I think those are some of the ways Hella prepared me, and of course, like Hella gave me the foundational US school and learning like experience, because it's quite different where we are coming from and then how it is here as well. And so like the courses I did, the program, how I received feedback on the way I was writing, and it shaped the way I write as well, how to think and process things, like how to have analytical rigor in like talking about papers, articles, and which is like more of the things you would do at the PhD level, reviewing articles, writing about them, critiquing, like talking about the strengths. Like basically, you should be a good analytical like person, thinking about theories, thinking about how to position yourself in an academic debate. And those were some amazing foundational groundings I got from Brandeis for my PhD. And I use them every day here. Like I use them every day. And it's been really useful. And so I want to say thank you to Hella once again. And thanks to UGA too, and the anthropology department.
Okay. Well, we would have gotten there, but you've already thanked them. So you still mention it to them, right?
I will still mention it when I get there.
When we get there, yeah. So my next question to then is, what advice should you give to prospective students about choosing the right school, the right course, and the country for their goals, right?
Tough one. I would just say what worked for me,
Okay.
and probably will work for other people as well. And just giving what to do. And I think for me, the way I approach this is one, looking at where I want my life to go. So 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, who is Samuel? If we are talking about Samuel, where do I want my life to be? Do I want to be in an office, or do I want to be in the field doing something physical? Do I want to be in this like particular sector, or this way, academia or industry? And then in that, what particular sports in that area interest you the most? I think if you are interested in multimedia, and even in multimedia, there are many, I don't know too much about it, but I know that people in videography, there are people in photography, there are people like who are doing this editing and
the production, editing,
exactly.
So there's like a move
writing, right?
To take and all of that, yeah.
Exactly. There are many things. There's this particular sport that you're most interested in, and I think that should be the area you should capitalize on, because at the end of the day, you really want to be where you are happy, where you are excited. And one thing I can tell you from my experience is that getting into an academic field that you're not interested in, hey, you'll be super frustrated.
You will
Above
be
all,
frustrated.
super frustrated.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would say that find what makes you happy and what aligns with your career goals and where you want to go. In academia, what field? You can be doing, let's say, a course today that is really broad in that what exactly within that program or that area excites you. Capitalize on that. There are many like programs there that you can pursue that will give you joy and position you exactly where you want to be. For instance, for me, when I was like, I want to work with the Ministry of Agric one day in Ghana. So what do I do to get there? I have to learn policies. I have to learn Agric. I have to have like theoretical conversations and concepts that talks about Agric that can help me also contribute to this conversation. Looking at it from policy side, sustainability, development, I went to Hela, and now I'm looking at like getting a comparative like dynamics of how agric work in the US and agric work in the Ghana. In this way, I can like I'm broadening my perspective and my mindset and my like understanding of how these systems revolve around different regions. And so I'm still pursuing exactly the same thing as I did right from the beginning, being a farmer and then getting into my master's within this. And still today, I'm looking at environment ecology. And my research today is still focused on farmers and climate change. So it's that particular spot that excites you and you capitalize on that. And once you make people know that you're excited about this area, especially professors, that they know that you're excited about this area and you're not just talking about it or you just don't want to have a PhD in this area, but it's something you really want to do and you're passionate about it. Once people pick that up from you, that's it. I think everybody will be interested like in having you because you'll not just talk about it, but you go all out and that will excite you. And so even when the program gets tough, you still have the energy to drive through it. Yeah.
So maybe for me, this is the first time I'm hearing the word anthropology.
Okay. Right.
Yes, I like that you have introduced this part of our conversation. Right. So, but what I know, your research connects agriculture, climate change, and rural livelihoods, right? So, how do you explain your work to someone hearing it for the first time, like myself? How do you explain what you do to me?
Right. So, anthropology in broader terms is the study of humans' interactions. And so, anything human with their interactions of the environment, like the physical space. And they can also have like some internal things that has to do with the body as well, because some anthropological work study human osteology, which has to do with the physicality of the human. Yeah, but in my research, currently what I'm looking at is blueberry farmers in the US and affecting their production. So just like many plants, there are certain climatic thresholds or like climate envelopes that each plant are able to do well and produce optimally. Beyond that threshold, farmers find themselves wanting in controlling and caring for their plants to produce at that level. And so what is happening currently is that as a result of climate change, blueberry farmers are also increasingly getting into this ecological threshold for which their plants are able to produce optimally for market, which like contribute to their livelihood as farmers. And so how this is how climate change is producing this whole environmental dynamics and how that is affecting these plants. And what are the farmers' decisions that revolves around this in shaping their livelihood as farmers in rural US. So in plain terms, that is, I don't have answers to how they are doing it because I'm yet to carry out my research on the field. But in simple terms, this is what I'm focused on currently for my PhD. Yeah.
I think this sort of answers my next question, right? So I think is that you've also answered, but let's play around a little bit, right? So how has owning, how has your own farming background, right? With your family, influenced questions you ask and the way you interpret data? Because I believe that you already have the experience. Now you are doing in-depth research.
Yeah.
You are really trying to understand the climate, trying to understand the conditions. Because I think, as part of our conversations earlier, there was a part where your mom did not even want to go. She wanted to stop farming, right?
Right.
Yeah. So while responding to that question, with your knowledge now, and whilst you're back on your research journey now, what advice would you have given to your mom if you have the kind of knowledge you have today? And I also want to find out personally, is she still into farming or she has stopped completely? And if she has stopped, would you ask her to go back into farming? I'm asking too many questions.
So many questions. The question is very loaded. I hope I remember all of them.
I
Yeah,
remind
but
you,
that's very like great and interesting questions. Okay, so let me start from whether my mom is still in farming or not. My mom
yeah,
is not into agric anymore because my mom
anymore.
is old. Yeah,
Oh,
and we her children, we don't want her to be in the farm again. Like there should come a point where you should retire.
yeah,
And I think my mom is there. Yeah, but we still have farms. And
okay.
personally, I'm a farmer and I want to be a farmer. Like I have
For
farms
the
and
rest
I'll
of your
continue
life,
to have farms. Sorry?
you want to be a farmer for the rest of your life.
Farmer for life. Farmer for life. Yeah, even when I retire, I'll still have farms that yes, will be working. Yeah, I believe in food and I
Okay.
believe in using food as
If you have
medicine.
some plot of lands, let me know. So that if you dash me some two plots with two,
Well,
this year.
I thought you're going to say you're going to buy lands for me so that I farm.
Oh, bro, come on. You already have a farm. You're into farming. I'm sure you have some lands, bro.
Well, we can talk about that backstage.
Okay. I'll reach out.
Okay. Sorry.
I would definitely reach out to you, but
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
over to you.
So yes. So how that my farming experience has shaped how I approach my research today. I think I was situated in one key thing I've learned from one of my classes here at UGA in letting, like giving agency to the people you are researching.
Hmm.
So today, the way I've known farming and the way I talk about farming in my own perspective, I put that on the people I'm working with on the field and say, oh, this is how I've known it. So it should definitely be this way. But then, will it be the same way if the people I'm working with are the people talking about it?
Okay.
So I think to like in many methodological conceptions and then like conceptualization and how you should drive research questions, and I think we tend to give much agency to the people you are working with on the field and letting them explain things for you and letting the data talk rather
Okay.
than having it like imposing your personal perspectives where you're coming from. So we are encouraged to really be reflective of ourselves and not project ourselves too much. But in terms of questions I ask, I think I don't know. So that's how I'm going to the field. And I think what I'm really interested in finding out is the systems that revolved around this. And so letting farmers talk about how they are able to interpret what they what they see as ecological threshold for their
Okay.
plants. Yes, and so that will be the very basic question today I'm going to look out. But I'm really going to let the people I work with actually talk about what I really want to know and I want to understand from their perspective and not my perspective.
Okay. Let's talk about your branding. You mentioned something about you positioning yourself as a research candidate, right? There was a need for you to position yourself like that.
Right.
So, for students interested in research careers, what should they understand about building a strong research portfolio as research profile in grad school? How should they go about it? how should they brand themselves as people who are interested in research? I don't know if my question is clear. It should be clear though.
Is it for people applying or for people who are already in it?
So it's two questions actually. It's for those who are applying and those already in it. Yes. What should a brand look like for them?
I think I can speak more for those who are applying. And for those who are in it, I don't know if I can speak a little like much more because I'm just also just starting. I'm also learning a lot at the moment about it. But for those applying, I think for me, one important thing I think that worked for me, and I will put that out there, is the fact that if you're writing in your applications, don't be too rigid about what you want to do. I don't know if this makes sense, but I've read a couple of statements of purpose and like research statement of purposes, and I think some of the times we tend to be too rigid that we want to do this, we want to do that, and not leaving room for what can change. And going in as a student, a lot can change. A lot can change. And so my one thing I will let people know and understand is that what you should truly demonstrate is your understanding and depth of your concept and then themes or areas you are really interested in, and don't write things as rigid as you want to, like you're really focused on. Like for instance, someone will say that, oh, I really want to do like one thing I want to do is that I want to look at climate change and agriculture. Like for me, in my instance, if you write about climate change and agriculture, that's the big thing, which is good. But some people like will go on and say very specific thing that they want to do and tend to be like no show understanding of how the general conversation or debate within that themes are going. And that puts like committees off, if I should say it that way. And so just be able to understand and prove that you have like understanding conceptual backgrounds of the areas you really want to work in, and let that be out there in your writings rather than just coming off as rigid. This is exactly what I want to do. If it changes, I'm out. Yes.
Yes, I feel you.
Great.
Right. So I think we've exhausted our 1 hour conversation with Samuel. We are not leaving now. Before Samuel leaves, I would run him through his website, his university's website, so that those who are watching, if you're interested in his university, maybe there are some unique details he wants to share with everybody. So if you're interested in any of their school programs, I realized today nobody sent a comment. If you have any questions, maybe I didn't mention, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Then someone will answer them before he leaves. So I'll just present your university's website. If you have anything interesting you think people should know. Then let me start with Brandeis though. So this is your university. I don't know if you can see your website.
On the screen, no, I can't see anything on the screen.
I see Brandeis University.
No,
you can't.
I can't. I just see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me try and share properly. All right, give me a few seconds. All right. You still don't see, do you?
Okay. I think I should be able to see it now, but it's blue, like blank.
So the background is gone, right?
Yeah, it's just blank. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to stop sharing. Maybe I'm not doing it properly. So just maybe just tell us. Maybe you can just share this with us.
Put them in the link. Let me see if I can like the chat section.
No, okay. Should be able to project this. So for anyone who is watching, I think Brandeis has like very good programs. I think people should see. We are not going to see, but I feel like people
Okay, that's okay. That makes sense too.
should start to stream. Yeah.
Shared the UGA
Right.
link.
It's visible now, right?
Oh yes, it is. It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is Brandeis University. So tell us about Brandeis University. Or you want me to take it to the Hella School?
No, what you want to do? Like whichever
So
way you want.
tell us about your school.
Okay, so first Brandeis. Um, I just say that Brandeis is for especially the Hella School. I can talk more about the Hella School because
Right.
I know that should wait.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Sort it
Yeah,
out.
the page is not showing. So yeah,
Yeah,
so I think Brandeis is a oh okay, it's showing now.
it's showing now, right? Yeah.
Yes. Brandeis is in Massachusetts and it's
Okay.
located in a suburb called Waltham, which is a great place to be. The people are nice and they have a lot of programs as well. Brandeis run like undergraduate programs and also graduate level programs. And I know they have sciences. I know they also run like IT courses. There's the Brandeis Business School as well, IBS. And then they have the arts school. So that's one interesting course. Someday I want to really explore. And yeah, I think I love art. And
Okay.
yes, but the Hella School they have programs like the now global sustainability
Okay.
and management program. They have
I think you can see
the
my screen, but I think I'm showing the graduate degree programs.
yes, you're showing that. Yes, they have the global health program, which you did.
Yeah, which I did. Yeah.
Yes, great. Yeah, then they have the MBA and they have also the PhD programs, PhD in
Policy.
social policy. Yes, PhD in
Yeah.
social policy. Yeah, so if you're looking at any of these courses, you can check out the website that NI has provided, and then you can look into them more details and make a selection for yourself. And it's like most of the programs are really like globally tailored, and so it doesn't matter where you are. And once you find a fit with it in terms of your goals and your interest, you can prepare well. I would say
Mm.
give it a try. I would say prepare well once you love it and go for it. Yes, Brandeis
Are there
is
like any scholarships available?
for I think Hella gives a certain percentage of scholarships for master's programs. I don't know if the case for all the programs. Again, you can check from the website. But I think the PhD, I know they have fully funded PhD programs too, and it's the same thing for UGA as well. And I think most PhD programs are fully funded. And for that, I think I can I think so that most of them, if not all, most of them are fully funded. And sometimes if they don't have funding for you, they don't even give you admissions in the first place unless
Okay.
you can probably pay for it out of pocket.
Out of
So yes, so my school too, they have too many. The school is really huge,
That should be your school,
really
right?
huge.
University of Georgia.
Yes, yeah, this is my school. Yeah,
Okay.
really huge. And for programs, I believe they have like tons of. I don't know all the programs they run, but am I in my building where my school is? My department is. We have their public policy. We have sociology. We have psychology. I know they also run journalism. They have many undergraduate programs as well, and fundings. Like there are a lot of fundings. I can't talk more for again for masters and undergraduate levels, but
Okay.
of course everything will be on the website that you can check them out. But for PhD levels, I think and I want to believe that also most of them are comes with funding. And
Okay.
yes, it's an interesting areas you can look at. Yeah.
All right. Honorable, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
on the call
too.
with me today.
Thank
I'm
you.
very grateful, man. I like that you took some time off to come share your experience with us as a pro, study abroad pro from a master's program to a PhD. And personally, I think your insights have been very helpful to me because I am considering, going to have a PhD for myself.
All right.
Some of the
Go for
programs,
it.
still
Yeah.
short programs, because I'm interested in literally everything.
No,
So
you
maybe
can't. You can't be. And that is dangerous.
I enjoy doing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That I agree.
That's what the
Yeah.
good thing about studying in the US is that you can always switch. You can move from one field to the other, provided you have like some little experience in that new field,
Right.
like little understanding in that particular field. You
Right.
can always move from. Because I came from business, came to do health, global health. Now, I'm trying to go back into marketing. There's the dynamics are interesting. I feel like it's an opportunity.
The health sector too is this business as well. So I don't think you've left your field completely.
That is true because there's like the healthcare financing aspect of it
Right.
too. So yes,
Right.
I agree with
So
you. I feel like all the fields are somewhat connected.
connected.
Once you have a business
Right.
background, you can literally
Right.
do everything apart from
Yeah.
medicine. I don't know about that, but I know you
I don't
can.
know. I also don't know anything about medicine.
So,
Yeah.
Samuel, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being on the show with me today, man. I am very grateful, and I believe my viewers are also very grateful. If you are watching us too, thank you so much for being part of today's conversation. It was very insightful, man. And I hope that you join us same time next week for a guest for next week. I'm hopeful that we'll have another interesting conversation as well again for next week as you prepare for fall 2026, 2027. I don't know when you'll be ready to study abroad, but whenever you're ready to study abroad, don't forget to visit my channels to watch previous conversations on how to ready yourself for any of the programs. I think one of the areas I haven't touched on so far is a conversation with on how you can sort of prepare yourself to come and read an undergraduate program. I think some of the conversations have been for graduate studies. So hopefully I get someone who moved here to read, another graduate program to have them on the show to share the experience with all of us. So thank you all for being on the call. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'll see all of you same time next week. And don't forget to follow my social media platforms. It's the new Obodai on Instagram, on Facebook, and I think on LinkedIn it's Terrick New Obodai Torgbor. Right. And on TikTok is also the new Obodai. Samuel, if you want, how can people connect to you for more insights?
Right. Share my email. I think I'm quick on emails than
Okay.
social media. I don't do a lot of social media on WhatsApp, but I think I can quickly share my
Yeah,
email if that's okay. Yeah.
I thought you were active on LinkedIn though.
Yes, I'm active on LinkedIn as well. Like my name
Yeah,
is Samuel Siaw. Yeah,
yeah,
you can
Samuel
find me
Siaw.
Samuel Siaw on LinkedIn as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the LinkedIn should be able to connect with you on LinkedIn and then they could.
Okay. Yes. Then I think LinkedIn should be. Yeah. For LinkedIn, I'm frequent on LinkedIn. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all. And
Thank you.
yes, enjoy your Christmas holidays. I'm going to
Yeah.
enjoy mine. Someone is
Christmas
going
is
to enjoy his own. Christmas is coming. All right. Bye.
great. Bye. Mhm.